This question says the diagram shows a triangle ABC. So here's the triangle ABC. Okay, work out the sides of angle A. Give your answer correct to one decimal place. Okay, so we want to work out this angle up here, A, right? Looking at the triangle, I know all three sides. I want to work out a missing angle, right? It's not a right angle triangle because there isn't a right angle or a little tiny square or 90 degrees indicated for any of the angles. They haven't told us it in the question, so I cannot use SOHCAHTOA, right? This is not a trigonometry question where I could use SOHCAHTOA, so I need to use the sine or the cosine rule. And here's how I decide which one of those two I'm going to use. I'm first going to label up the sides. So this is angle big A, and so this side opposite it is going to be small a. This is angle big B, so opposite it is going to be small b. This is angle big C, so opposite it is going to be small c. So I know these pairings. Okay, what I'm going to do now is indicate the angle that I want to find, A, that angle. So I know I will need to work out that angle there. Now, I have an angle side pairing with this angle that I want to find out, but I have no other angles, so I can't have any other angle and side pairing. That means I can't use the sine rule. Okay, I can't use the sine rule. I'll therefore need to use the cosine rule. And if I think about it, I want to find this angle, and I know both sides on either side of it and the side opposite it. So I definitely can use the cosine rule. You need to know those facts, right? So you need to revise and review those facts for the sine and cosine rule. Let's write down the information that we know and then start working out what at angle A. We know that A is 3.6, B is 2.7, and C is 1.8. I need to write down the cosine rule. Okay, always make sure you write down the cosine rule. The cosine rule is a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. You need to learn that, right? That is not given to you in the exam. You're expected to know it. I'm going to replace all the things I know. So I know that a squared is equal to, a is equal to 3.6, so 3.6 squared. B is 2.7, that's 2.7 squared, plus 1.8 squared, minus, and then use brackets around these here, 2bc, 2 brackets, 2.7 brackets, 1.8 brackets, and then I want to work out cos a. So all these things are being times together. 2 times 2.7 times 1.8 times cos a. Okay, so we need to start working these things out. I'm going to go to my calculator and work out each of these. All right, 3.6 squared is 12.96, 2.7 squared 7.29, 1.8 squared 3.24, and if I times 2 by 2.7 by 1.8, I get 9.72. That's timesing the cos a, but remember, that's what I want to work out. I want to first work out cos a before I could work out the angle a. Let's tidy this up a bit further. 7.29 plus 3.24 gives me 10.53. Okay, I need to get rid of this 10.53, so this is like balancing an equation. Get rid of that 10.93 from that side, so I need to minus it from 12.96, and that gives me 2.43. I now need to get rid of this 9.72, but remember that's a minus 9.72, so I need to divide by minus 9.72, and that tells me that cos a is minus 0.25. Okay, so you need to make sure you present your work really clearly in a systematic way. Now, I've gotten to this point, cos a is equal to minus 0.25. To work out the angle A, if it's an angle you want to work out in anything, you're going to use inverse trig. So I need to do A is the inverse cos of minus 0.25. Don't be fazed by the fact that it's negative. I could just go to my calculator and plug that in, and that gives me 104.4775. Okay, now I need to round that to one decimal place. Going back to the question, work out the sides of the angle A, give your answer correct to one decimal place, find the decimal point, count one number after it. Well, we're going to chop it off there. There's a 7 after it, so that's going to be 104.5 as my answer. This is a straightforward cosine rule question. However, you need to be pretty spot on with it. Show your workings clearly, present your workings systematically and make sure you can do it. Let's go on to part B. In part B, they said work out the area of the triangle ABC. So they want us to work out the area of a triangle. Now this is not a right angle triangle. I know its base. I don't know its height, right? But I know there's a formula to work out the area of a triangle that's not a right angle triangle if I know an angle and the two sides on either side of it. Okay, so what do I know, right? I know that that's A, B, C, just like the last time. I worked out angle A, right? And here's my formula. The area of this triangle, this particular triangle, okay? I know these two sides, B and C, and I know angle A, so it's half the two sides on either side of the angle that I know, B and C, times together, times sine of the angle A, times sine of this angle, because I only know one angle in this triangle. So I know A is 3.6, B is 2.7, C is 1.8, and we did work out A was 104.5. All right, now I don't need the value of A. I need the two sides on either side of the angle. So B and C, they're on either side of the angle that I know. I'm going to put those into the equation, a half times 2.7 times 1.8 times sine of 104. So it always is sine, right? And it's the angle there. That just goes straight into your calculator and we get a result. Remember the question said give your answer to one decimal place. So find the decimal point, count one number after it, and we're going to chop it off there. That's a 5. If we round that up, that's going to be 2.4 centimeters squared, and that's the area of that particular triangle. Really straightforward one there. This question carries a lot of marks. Make sure you do know it. It's very likely you'll get something of this type in the actual exam.